Hi everybody. Excuse the little noise. Abigail's playing with her toy, and so you may hear a little bit of noise. But I'm doing this for my kids and for my grandkids one day. You know, they can look back and know our history. And so I'm going to start. This will be a several videos part, but so I don't want it to be so long. And at the end of each video, I'll put up some videos or pictures that I have of that time. But this is the time when Alex was a baby and we had to move out of state. Where Ricky had worked and where I had worked too, that place was closing. It was the same company, but that location was closing. And so they told him he was going to be relocated in Anniston, Alabama. And so I remember when he told me. Now Alex was 3 months old, and at the time we were having to live with his parents. Now where they lived, it was only like an hour drive to there, and then where my mom lived, it was like an hour and a half drive to there. But for the time being, we lived with them, so the drive wasn't too bad. But it wasn't long that we found our own apartment there. Now, when he told me, we still had his little Z car, the two-seater, and I've told y'all about that, where one of us would take turns driving and the other one had to just lay in the back so our baby could be buckled in his car seat. So I was laying in the back, and he was telling me where he got transferred and stuff, and I remember I started just crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, here he is. He's going to move me to a different state, away from my family. I don't know anybody. And back then, everybody didn't have computers, and there wasn't the cell phone. Everybody didn't walk around with a cell phone like the rich people and companies had the in-car cell phones that cost, you know, a lot of money. But, and I always say, looking back, had I had the capabilities that we do now with the computer and the internet and the cell phone and text messaging, I might not have been so lonely. But we had none of that, and the call was long distance, and you couldn't afford it. And I just cried. But at least it wasn't too bad there. Like I say, it was an hour and a half away. And we still didn't get a lot of visits, and we couldn't really do no calling. And here I was with a small baby. But that place wasn't too bad. It was a small little apartment. Our backyard was where they had a pool that was covered up with dirt. But Richard worked just weird long hours, and so it was really just me and Alex. And like if I needed to go to the grocery store, I just had to put him in his stroller and we had to walk. When we first moved there, my mom had came up to help, and some other family. And when she was getting ready to leave for the night, she started packing up Alex's diaper bag. I'm like, what are you doing? She says, I'm going to take Alex home with me so y'all can get unpacked and then bring him back tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I ain't been away from my baby. You know, he's only 3 months old. She's like, Cricket, get over it. You know, I raised you. He'll be fine. So that was the first time Alex spent the night away from home. And I stayed up all night, you know, when packed and everything. But so that part really wasn't that bad. But then we got the other news a couple of months later. They were then going to transfer Ricky to Tuscaloosa. I hope I'm saying that right. To Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I know I have trouble with some words. That was a 6-hour trip away from home, from my family. That, I was just like, oh my goodness, why do you have to do this? You know, it was terrible. Alex was, like I said, we was only there at this place just for a couple of months. So Ricky did have a friend that happened to live in that area. So when we went up there, she took me around looking for apartments. And everything was so expensive. You know, it's the college community too. But we happened to find in a little town past there, it was in Moundville, some apartments that this man just started building. He had a couple of made, and he was finishing the one that we were going to get. So it still wasn't quite ready, and the rent was very good, and it was brand new. Came with washer, dryer, everything, and it was huge. It was bigger than our upstairs of our house now. And the man, I'm just going to give his first name. His first name was Bill. He was very nice. Now, in Moundville, that town had their own private telephone company, so to call within that town, you only use 4 numbers. You know, who am I going to call? I don't know nobody. But it was duplexes. And he only had a few built at the time. It was just, that town had a post office, but no mailman. You walked to the post office or drove to get your mail, a little convenience store, a little play area, and a fruit stand, and a doctor. They had a doctor and a pharmacist right there together, and that was about it. So where we chose to live, you know, where Ricky worked was in Tuscaloosa, so that was a 30 to 45 minute drive. So, but it was very affordable, and the place was very nice. So when Ricky got transferred, since the duplex was not ready, and he had to go open the store, they put us up in a motel, and the business paid for the motel. And this man, Bill, was so nice. The company came and actually sent movers that packed up our stuff, that he actually rented a storage place, which he was a contractor, on that property, and had the movers put it there. And then when it was ready to move in, he actually had his man unpack our stuff. Super nice. Like, this man was super nice. But back at the motel, where Ricky worked, paid for the motel, but they would only pay if we ate at that restaurant too. We lived there for a month, y'all. And now with a baby, you know, living in a motel room, that was not fun. And we got so tired of eating at that restaurant. Remember, we're not rich, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, so really we had to eat there. That a lot of times I would walk down with Alex in the morning and just get mine to go, because one morning when I tried to eat there, it was a breakfast buffet, but I didn't want to leave my son sitting at the table, so I'm going to show y'all pictures of how big Alex actually was at 4 months old. He was huge. You know, me trying to hold him and fix my plate and all, and, you know, I would just mainly get it to go and walk back up to the room unless Ricky happened to be off, or we could go eat supper together. So normally what we would do is we would feed Alex, and then on nights that Ricky could go eat supper, and then we would go there to eat. And Alex loved to eat. Even as a baby, he loved to eat. And so he was done like 6 months old, 7 months old. So we would feed him in the room, and then when we'd go down to eat, Alex would actually attract people. I remember this little couple came up and said, "I'm so sorry to stare, but I just so love watching your son eat." Because he would still eat from what we were eating, what, you know, he could eat. But, and he'd just go, whenever you'd give Alex a bite. Alex would eat anything except beans. I would hide a bean, like in his mashed potatoes or mashed squash or whatever. He would eat all of that, swallow it, and spit out the bean. But that didn't bother me. He would eat anything. And Alex was really a good baby. So they would kind of stand around and watch and stuff. But when we got moved in, when Bill told us that our apartment was ready, and by this time, the Z car messed up, but Ricky's mom was getting a new car, so she gave us her car, and it was a little Hyundai. It didn't have air, but we were thankful for it. But we still was a one-car family. And I remember moving in. Bill had his men, unpack our stuff. And this town, y'all, it was like stepping back in time. I just, if I could describe it now, mind you, I was so lonely. Ricky still worked messed up hours, and I was so lonely, so it was just really just me and Alex. And I would just put Alex in a stroller, and we'd walk to the post office, or I'd walk him to the playground. I would just try to keep busy. That duplex was the cleanest duplex because that's all I did was clean. And Richard's dad had a video camera that he let us have because he wanted us to take all kind of video of Alex. So when they came to visit or we went down to visit, they could watch videotape so they wouldn't miss anything. And Ricky had, where he worked, actually got in some doll houses that he built, and he had built me one. So when Alex would nap, I'd paint it. And I even made little curtains for it just with things I had around the house because I couldn't go buy none. Little blinds that I made out of toothpicks and stuff. And when Alex would wake up, I'd pack it up, put it up, and, play with him. And so I'm going to leave it here right now. Now, you'll probably see me looking the same when I tell part 2 because I'll go ahead and probably do a lot of it. But I'll just add some photos or videos that we've taken. And we lived there for 2 years. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here, and I'll continue on with part 2. I hope you find this interesting. Y'all say that y'all like my stories, so I'm trying to continue them, and one day, even Alex can, watch back, and my grandchildren, and can see them. So I hope you enjoy, and I'm trying to upload these on the weekend and do my cooking videos during the week. So see you at part 2.